What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. We're going to keep it light today, and I wasn't really going to film because it's just trying to keep it easy and take it easy today, but I figured this would be kind of a good tip for people that have never dealt with trying to pick a spot for a turbo and how you manage said deal. This is how I do it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And actually I have a new idea, which might turn out to be poor or it might turn out to be genius. But these things, especially when you get to the big boy dogs like this thing is like 50 pounds or 50 something pounds. So you don't just grab it, move it willy-nilly, and then if you set it on stuff, you know, it's 50 pounds of weight sitting on whatever it is. Like if you try to mock up or, oh, I'm just going to throw a tack here, it ain't happening, Jack. So what I like to do is break it down and just use the hot side. So it eliminates all of this stuff. This is a lot more durable. It's cast iron or steel or whatever it is, and it's a lot smaller. But in doing so, typically I would just like pull a measurement and account for it. But I think what we're gonna do today is maybe we'll get a little creative and I'll try to make some sort of like mock-up out of cardboard or something that's kind of roughly this. Like even if it's just a big square, it doesn't have to be this exact shape. It just has to be big enough that we can kind of like tape it to the hot side. So I can move the hot side around, put it where I need it, and then set that other piece up against it or throw a piece of tape on it or something and account for all this mass here. And then, you know, if we got a good spot, we can make something to hold the hot side, and then we could put this thing together and then bolt it on there and see if the whole deal actually works before you really get froggy and burn it all in. You're like, oh, I don't really like that spot. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna break this down. I'll show you guys how you just take this off. It's fairly simple. Some of you guys, I realize, are not turbo people. If you are a turbo person, you probably don't need to see this if you already turbocharged cars and all that other stuff. But I do appreciate you stopping by and checking out the channel. So first things first on a turbo, this is your cold side, and then this is your hot side. This is where the exhaust gases come in and spin, and there's basically two different, it's an inducer and an exducer. It's like fan blades essentially. One spins from the exhaust heat, and then this one spins and compresses the air and pumps it into your motor. And they're connected through a shaft, so it spins in the middle, right? So when you hear journal bearing, ball bearing, that distinguishes what bearings are inside this thing. And then the center piece here houses all that, and that's where your oil comes in. So you hear people talk about oil drains and all that fun stuff. So the oil comes in here, drains out the big hole in the bottom. This should be pretty well vertical. And then that houses the wheels with the spinny guys that are on either side. So this is the hot side, and then they're just V-banded on. So if you undo this, which we will do right now, you guys are going to see that this piece will slide off of the hot side, and then you just have this mamma jamma to mess with versus all of this. But before we get all froggy with that, I'm going to brainstorm a little bit and grab some things. Like I said, I got a bunch of cardboard boxes and pretty much trash laying around because I need to clean up. But we're going to skip that. And, oh, I got some handy dandy poster board too, but I don't know if that's going to be like rigid enough. So let me cut off of here, kind of figure out an idea, and then you and I will come back and we're going to make it happen, Captain. Okay, I think the easiest thing that we can do, really, is I don't need to try to make some cardboard weirdo turbo looking guy. I can just make like a sphere, and maybe we'll just like put a lid on it or something. I can just make it out of that. And what I did was I loosened the V-band here, and then now you can rotate these separately from each other. That's what clocking a turbo is. But I moved it over so we can throw a straight edge on the top. Let's see if you guys see this. So we throw a straight edge on the top. Then I got my tape measure here. So from this, the top of this flange here to this straight edge, you put it across, you look at about 7 inches, right? So from the edge of this flange to the top of this guy is 7 inches. And then we can just basically make a circle, like I said, and then we'll just be able to just set it against this to look for room. So that way we can gauge it. And when we're in there mocking stuff up, I know that I can look at this and go, oh, 7 inches off that, you know, we're good or not. And to make it easy, we'll just do this so I know that that's the edge that we're going off of. Just put a little mark on it. So there's that. Then we'll show you guys real quick. Again, so these are the V-bands. We got one in here. So let's pull this off together. And we can separate this. And then we'll just have this guy to contend with. A little bit easier to manhandle. And again, you're not really going to damage that. I don't know if you have to actually take this all the way out, but just to make life easy so we're not, you know, struggling. So now that's free, we should be able to lift this part out. Boom. So there you go. This is out. So that is the hot side. And now you just have the housing, which you can see, I mean, it's still heavy, but I'm doing that with one hand. I can't move this around one hand, maybe like a little bit, but I couldn't just take it and flip it over like that. So this is much more manageable. And then that's the edge that we marked. So we know we need 7 inches off of that. And like I said, I'll just make a big cylinder that's basically the size of this at a poster board. And then we can fantasize and move this around and do whatever we need to. And like I said, it's tough. You know, we'll be mindful of this. I could throw the V-band probably back around this edge here, just so we don't bump into it or do anything stupid and mess up this surface, because this is a sealed surface. So we'll throw the V-band back around just for protection there. And that's it. And then we move this around and we can kind of eyeball it. And like I said, I can use my tape measure. Now that I know I need like 7 inches off the front, and then I'll make a little cylindrical piece. So if we kind of think we're set up, we can stabilize this somehow, because it's a lot, there's a lot less weight. So it'll be easier, and a few tack welds or whatever we're doing, I feel a lot better about holding this. So we can do that, put the little cylindrical piece and go, yeah, I think this will work good, before you get all willy-nilly and kind of weld something down. And then come to find out you're trying to stuff this 50-pound monster on here and it breaks off or doesn't work, or you're like, oh, I gotta go back to the drawing board. Now you're cutting welds off instead of just like tacks. So that's part of the process when you're doing all this stuff. So I'll mess around a little bit. We'll see how far we get, but I just kind of wanted to share that with you and share my idea. And I'd like you guys to share your ideas and how you do this. I've seen before too, I've actually done it like before the Malibu had the glass fenders. I just put like a bar across and basically like hung this thing. And I think I did like the whole turbo at one point. I had like a rigging apparatus and just kind of held it where it went and figured it out like that. But I don't have that luxury this go around, so we're gonna try this. But let me know how you guys rig your turbos up. Ta-da! So there's my magical idea. So again, here's my little mark. So I gotta be 7 inches off that. So we can just kind of eyeball it, like I said, use my tape measure and get a good ballpark. And this is an easy double check, like reference, right? You just set it up against there, and you know that the rest of the big old mamma jamma is roughly this size. And yeah, obviously this kind of sticks out, but you're gonna account for where that's pointing. And then again, the rest of this is, see? It's pretty much that dude minus that. So that's it. We can just use this as like a, you know, a guide, measurement guide. So now we can manhandle this dude, put it where we think, use our noodles, measure, use this guy to kind of confirm like, hey, we're good to go. And then hopefully tack it down, get it pretty close or pretty good, and before we test fit the whole mamma jamma. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's go peel the hood off the car and kind of eyeball stuff. Okay, so we ended up doing the bridge deal and the strappy guy, and this somewhere around here is what I'm thinking. The turbo used to live kind of higher, and then you could kind of see it through here, right? But it was up, it was like next to the radiator. So the idea with it over here is forward and low, and then also I'm going to angle it that way And then I have this whole pocket right here. I think we can make like a nice kind of ram air, you know, like I could do a big opening here to guide the air, fresh air into the turbo. And then maybe, depending on the room, I'd like to do some sort of like a filter, hopefully. So this is tentative and kind of the thought. I use my little round guy here to kind of stuff it in between, and then this thing would have to be angled like a bit more. I just have it sitting against the frame. Well, had it sitting against the frame for the idea. Then we have these nice and tight bends from JMD. So when I was angling it, I was kind of looking at that to see if, you know, we'd be able to make the radius. And the nice thing is having the nice tight one, and then we have the ones that are a little more open. We can do the tight one on this side, and then one's a little more open over here. So I think it's gonna work out good, and then we can make the mount right off the frame somewhere. So maybe a little more height, but we'll have it definitely facing that direction. And also you're not sucking hot air off the radiator. At least you're getting stuff that's coming from over here versus, you know, before it was just coming through here, but this thing's excreting a bunch of heat, right? So we're just sucking that in the turbo. Not like it's gonna make life-changing gains in power that way, but it can't hurt. And then, like I said, I'd like to figure out some sort of a cartridge or like removable filter or something cool. I looked at doing the headlight deal. It may or may not be able to work there, but then I don't know if the turbo itself is too large, like if it's gonna get real close to the hood. And then I figure, you know, forward and low, and then that mounting position should be easy. We can get it right on the frame rail, a lot of support there. So I want to try to keep it kind of close to the front frame rail, because the further up and away you get from that, you got to support that thing, and you got 50 pounds hanging out, and then that's added leverage. So yeah, video is probably short and sweet this week. We're doing awesome with the raffle. I'm hoping this motor leaves pretty soon here, and then I'm gonna try to get some more working things in next week. This week was just, it was a lot, I'll be honest with you. And then today has been quite a doozy. So I was glad that I came out here and got a little bit of stuff done, but I gotta pack it up a bit early. I'll go hang out with the boy, make sure he's not too zonked on his video games, and maybe enjoy the weather, take a walk around the block, because I need it. But next week we're starting a new week, and you know, we'll just keep climbing the mountain. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. Till next time, I'm out.